Well, howdy and welcome to Monday's edition of Today's Spread. Now, this week's topic is expectations for everyday living. Today, we're focusing on offer yourself to God. Our scripture reference is Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Now, while Christians today do not offer sacrifices on a literal altar, since Christ is our sacrifice once for all, God does call every believer to live a sacrificial life. This sacrifice does not involve the blood of a slain animal. Instead, his call involves daily sacrificing our lives. In Romans 12:1, Paul called on Christians to offer their bodies as living sacrifices. Now, Paul emphasized bodies because of the Old Testament parallel of offering the bodies of animals to God. Now, the word translated present is also used in Romans chapter 6, verse 13 and 19, and it is translated offer or yield. This term points toward the death of our old way of living in favor of a new and transformed life. Paul called this your reasonable service or your spiritual act of worship, verse 1. True spiritual worship, then, involves yielding one's life to God. This term speaks to surrendering our lives to God. We die to self in that we lay aside our plans and our desires in favor of surrender to God. Now, our lives are no longer driven by self-centered pursuits. This requires sacrifice, but by doing so, we experience eternal rewards. The sacrifice Paul described calls the believer to a life of nonconformity to the world, verse 2. Such a lifestyle involves transformation that can only occur when our minds are renewed. Our minds include our intellect, our will, and emotions. The continual renewal of the mind is a major part of the process of sanctification. God works to bring renewal to our minds as we seek Him in prayer, focus on His Word, and follow His plans for our lives. There is a stark contrast between the sinful value of a lost world and the eternal spiritual priorities that God has for us. We grow in Him as we follow His will through the course of our lives. Now, Monday's prayer focus for America is that Scripture would be honored in homes, schools, churches, and our government. Now remember, Jesus, He's coming back soon. Here's Monday's blessing. I bless you with God's perfect love that will displace all fears in your life. Thank you. You know, church isn't a place you go to. It's a family you belong to. So come be a part of the family. Now, until next time, keep breaking the bread with the bread of life, Jesus Christ.